Good day, ma'am. I am Aryan May M. Centillas, BS in English 3C. I am going to criticize the poem In Heaven by Stephen Crane, and the criticism that I will going to use is biographical and psychoanalytic criticism. First is biographical criticism of the poet Stephen Crane. Stephen Crane was born in Newark, New Jersey on November 1, 1871. His mother, Mary Helen Pick Crane, was a religious writer, and his father, Reverend Jonathan Townley Crane, was a Methodist minister. Crane was the youngest of the 14 children and was largely raised by his older sister, Agnes. He attended college for just 2 years, focusing on military training and Civil War studies. However, he claimed to find study of humanity more interesting and ended up leaving school to move with one of his brothers to Patterson. Stephen Crane worked as a reporter with his brother as well as writing for the New York Tribune. Crane eventually moved to New York City, where he began writing in earnest. Stephen Crane was a well-known novelist and poet. He is one of the America's preeminent writers of realism literature, and he is often credited with being one of the pioneers of naturalism as well. The focus of much of Crane's writings was on capturing the human condition. His works include In Heaven, The Red Badge of Courage, and the self-published novel Maggie, Girl of the Streets. Crane was also a distinguished short story writer, most notably for The Blue Hotel and The Open Book. He lived among artists, quickly becoming enraptured by the bohemian lifestyle. During those years, Crane wrote about the poverty and street life he witnessed. It even inspired his first book, Maggie, A Girl of the Street. Though it was his second, his first is The Red Badge of Courage that would put him into fame. During his travels, Crane met Cora, a brothel owner, who thereafter remained at his side. In addition to his fiction writing, Crane still worked as a journalist, traveling through the American West and Mexico, and as a war correspondent. He traveled to Greece, England, and Germany, writing all the while. His traveling companion was Cora Taylor, a married former prostitute whose husband had refused to give her a divorce. She and Cora, she and Crane eventually came to be recognized as common law spouses. However, Cora and Crane's other outcasted company led to terrible rumors about him. Rumors involving promiscuity, Satanism, and drug addiction. Disgusted, Crane fled to England with Cora, where they lived lavishly and beyond his means. Crane wrote prolifically to try and dig his way out of massive debt. But stress and his unhealthy lifestyle would take its toll. Crane contracted tuberculosis. And in December of that same year, he had a massive hemorrhage. Crane died on June 5, 1900. He was just 28 years old. Crane's writing was both prolific and ahead of its time. He is considered to be one of the founders of realism in American literature, as well as a great contributor to the naturalism and impressionism. His stark and vivid imagery, as well as his ability to grasp the human condition, is what made his writing stand out. Whether or not his work was well received, it always made a splash. Even as a freelance writer, readers would write into the papers and complain about his sarcastic stories. Next is the psychoanalysis or psychoanalytic criticism. Stephen Crane's desire to write was inspired by his family. His father, a Methodist minister, and his mother, a devout woman dedicated to social concerns, were writers of religious articles, and two of his brothers were journalists. Crane's work reflects many of the major artistic concerns at the end of the 19th century, especially naturalism, impressionism, and symbolism. His work insists that we live in a universe of vast and indifferent natural forces, not in a world of the. His work on heaven is a religious poem, which I think influenced by his family, especially his parents who were writers of religious articles. This poem relates to the reality. Thence and other inanimate objects are given human qualities, resulting in a poem full of imagery and description. The poet Stephen Crane just used this poetic device to enhance the beauty of his poem. The poem is ended on a point worth lending attention to. Man should not be proud of his good deeds that he commits in the world. It will be ended the boundless mercy of God that we should rely on. The blade of grass, not knowing of his virtuous deeds, and only waits for the mercy of God, is rewarded. The poem has great depth. Crane has such imagination influenced by his religious family, bringing the image of mankind, all swaying as blade of grass. Such simplicity, yet the line at the end says so much.